Before there were Titans or Olympians, before even night and day, the Greeks imagined a world of pure nothingness they called chaos. And out of that void came the first true, tangible being, Gaia, the earth itself, alive and fertile, the ground beneath every myth. To the ancient Greeks, Gaia was not merely soil and stone. She was the very foundation of reality, the ever-enduring mother of gods and monsters alike. She nourished, protected, and gave life, but she also schemed, rebelled, and unleashed creatures that nearly ended Olympus before it began. Ancient poets often list her alongside Chaos, Nyx, and Erebus as the very framework of reality itself. Where chaos was gaping space, Gaia was solid and enduring, the first thing you could stand on, a living earth that would become the stage for everything that followed. And today we're going to peel back the comforting image of Gaia as a gentle Mother Earth and look at her full, complicated role in Greek cosmogony, from first being born out of chaos to shaping the destiny of the gods themselves. Beginning with Hesiod's theogony. Verily, the first chaos came to be, but next wide-bosomed earth, the ever-sure foundation of all. Out of the yawning void, chaos, the primal gap, emerged Gaia. Unlike later deities with human-like personalities, Gaia is at once a primordial being and the literal earth itself, the first stability after the void. She isn't merely a goddess who rules the earth. She is the earth, the fertile soil, the mountains, the valleys, the unshakable ground on which gods and mortals alike tread. And to the Greeks, Gaia represented permanence and foundational order after the formlessness of chaos, the first stable thing to exist. But Gaia was more than just rock and dirt. She is also the womb from which all life springs, the one who feeds and sustains every creature. Farmers prayed to her for abundant crops. Cities swore oaths by her enduring strength, and in Delphi, before Apollo claimed the oracle, Gaia herself was believed to have spoken prophecy through the earth. And by the time later poets took up her story, Gaia had evolved far beyond the simple image of Mother Earth. While in Hesiod's theogony she is described as the wide-bosomed earth, the ever-sure foundation of all, other traditions shade her differently. In the Orphic hymns, Gaia is hailed as Mother of all, eldest of gods, a strong foundation of the ever-immortal world, nurse of the sea and of the mountains. Here, she is not just fertile soil, but the cosmic ground of stability itself, the one who nourishes gods and mortals alike, while holding the secrets of prophecy and the underworld. The Roman poet Ovid, in his Metamorphoses, keeps the idea of Earth as a primal, living base, but speaks with a softer, almost artistic awe. When describing creation, he writes of the Earth, Tellus, emerging from chaos, ordered into form and clothed with seas, plains, and mountains, a canvas for the coming age of gods and humans. Other ancient thinkers saw her power with caution. Homeric hymns call her the eldest of beings, firm in her seat, but warn she can bless harvests or withhold them. And in Plato's Timaeus and later philosophy, Gaia becomes a principle, the life-supporting base of the cosmos. But the myths never quite forget that she can rise in anger. Across cultures, similar figures appear. The Egyptians revered Gib, the male earth who lay beneath the sky goddess Nut. The Mesopotamians told of Ki, paired with An, who gave rise to the gods. The Norse imagined Yoro, mother of Thor and embodiment of the living ground. But the Greeks made Gaia unusually active, not only birthing, but plotting, arming her children, and toppling tyrants when the cosmic balance turned cruel. By the time of the philosophers, Gaia was no longer just a goddess to sacrifice to. She was a concept, the enduring, nourishing, but potentially vengeful earth beneath every throne. According to Hesiod, once the earth had formed, Gaia did not remain alone for long. In the earliest myths, she begins creating life almost immediately, often without a partner. Independently, Gaia produced Uranus, the starry sky, Uria, the mountains, and Pontus, the sea. Together, these children are the very building blocks of the world, the earth giving rise to the sky, the sea, and the great mountain ranges, establishing the stage upon which all later gods and stories unfold. Later, with Uranus as her mate, Gaia bore another generation that would shape the cosmic order, the 12 Titans. Oceanus and Tethys, the world-encircling river and the nourishing seas, Hyperion and Theia, light and sight, Coeus and Phoebe, intellect and prophecy, Creus and Eurybia, cosmic force and sea mastery, Iapetus, ancestor of humankind through Prometheus and Atlas, Theia, radiance and heavenly light, Themis, divine law and order, Mnemosyne, memory and the source of the muses, and finally Cronus and Rhea, fated to overthrow Uranus and give birth to the Olympians. Through these children, Gaia essentially seeded the universe with structure, oceans, laws, light, memory, and the next ruling dynasty. But Gaia's story isn't just about nurture, it's also about rebellion and revenge. When Uranus, afraid of his own children, forced them back into Gaia's depths, she writhed in pain and began plotting payback. In response to this, Gaia forged a sickle of adamant and urged her Titan children to rise against their tyrannical father. Only the youngest, Cronus, dared. When Uranus descended to cover Gaia, Cronus ambushed him, slicing off his genitals and hurling them away. The blood soaked Gaia, and from it sprang new life, including the Furies and later the Giants. It's easy to see this as an act of liberation, a mother freeing her imprisoned children, but it also sets a pattern. Gaia is both life-giver and power-shifter, sparking violent upheaval whenever her children suffer. And what began as a tale of a life-giving mother now turns into something deeper, a force willing to reshape the very order of the cosmos when her children are oppressed. And so Gaia's first great rebellion reshaped the heavens and set a pattern the cosmos would follow again and again. Creation followed by uprising, life followed by power struggle. But Gaia's defiance didn't stop with Uranus. When the Olympians took power and Zeus established his reign, the earth once again bristled at the new order. From her depths, she birthed the giants and urged them to rise against Zeus in the cataclysmic Gigantomachy. In some traditions, she even paired with Tartarus to produce Typhon, the monstrous serpentine challenger who nearly toppled Olympus. These later uprisings show Gaia not only as a life-giver, but also as a cosmic disruptor, willing to unseat any ruler who becomes oppressive. By the time Zeus finally triumphed, the cosmic order was fixed. The Olympians reigned, the Titans were chained in Tartarus, and Gaia, though still venerated as Earth, faded from the role of political schemer. She remained a powerful prophetic force, often consulted in the earliest oracles, and no god dared to claim the Earth as personal territory. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades famously divided sky, sea, and underworld, but left the Earth to Gaia, a sign of respect and perhaps fear. Philosophers later softened her image. To Plato and others, Gaia became a philosophical principle, the nourishing foundation of life. Yet myths never forgot that she could also rebel if angered. Gaia is more than a mother goddess. She's a metaphor for the Earth's dual nature, nurturing and sustaining, but also unpredictable and vengeful when wronged. She birthed the gods, yet toppled kings. She freed the oppressed, but unleashed monsters. She is the original revolutionary and the ever-present Earth beneath the Olympian drama. Was Gaia evil? Probably not, but she was no passive, gentle mother either. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Keep an eye out for the next video of my Primordial series, and if you haven't already, be sure to check out Ananke, Chaos, Nyx, and Erebus, which I've covered in the past few weeks. See you all in the next one.